Look what my bestie gave me for my birthday. Oh, I'm ready now. Let's go.
Outlander Season 4, Episode 1, America the Beautiful. Hey guys, it's Marsha, and welcome to Really Seriously For Real, and welcome to the first episode review for Outlander Season 4 Return. Just a quick thank you to stars, because they may not have known it, but Outlander returning on the 4th is like a late birthday gift, so thank you stars. I forgive you and humbly accept your gift. And now, let's switch to our Outlander friends in the new world. We get a cold open, introducing us first to the rough construction of stone formations in the American wilderness. Claire's voiceover giving a clever walkthrough depicting the symbolism of the circle in our culture, noting the infinite structure and natural repetitiveness, a stone formation, a clock, a hangman's noose, a proper segue to Jamie's friend Hayes. You might remember he was the one we saw Jamie talk down from the massive sails in last season's episode 9, The Doldrums. Now he sits awaiting his demise for relieving a man of his life in self-defense. Well, I guess that's a circle. This is where we also get our first glimpse at Stephen Bonnet as he waits for his turn at the gallows, asking to share a final drink of liquor. The two men will have two very different fates, where Hayes loses his life and Stephen manages to slither away after a disturbance in the crowd. Jamie, Claire, and family regroup at a tavern where they reveal they are unable to bury Hayes in the church's cemetery since he was a criminal, even though the church would look the other way for a large bribe. So they instead decide to bury him under the cloak of night in the cemetery anyway. Jamie and Ian proceed to dig Hayes' final resting place, when poor Ian has a bout of PTSD, and we're reminded of his time with Galis. He painfully tells Jamie how she took advantage of him. He was ashamed and hated it, but at the same time, it was pleasing. Jamie tells young Ian that he too was taken advantage of, obviously referring to his unfortunate time with Blackjack Randall. He empathizes with Ian and tells him his privates don't have a conscience. You do. They go back to the carriage and retrieve Hayes' body, only to find out they have a stowaway by the name of Stephen Bonnet, begging for their assistance in smuggling him out of there, to which they agree, citing his friendship with Hayes. This had me frustrated though. I was yelling at the TV. I mean, they had been talking about jewels and money while Bonnet was in hiding. Jamie interrogated him a bit, asking him why he was on death row. But right there is where everything should have ended, because Bonnet confessed he was a thief. You're traveling with priceless jewels, and the guy's a thief. Jewels, thief, jewels, thief. Shall I go on? Anywho, Jamie and Claire take Bonnet, disguising him as a body awaiting burial. And when they reach a checkpoint with English officers, they poke at the body with the bayonet, just to make sure. Talk about taking a chance, because there's a lot of places they could have poked, but not even a flinch. So they're allowed to proceed. Once far enough away, Claire tends to Bonnet's leg, which was nicked slightly, though lucky for him, the venison bore the brunt of the sword. Ah, Stephen, it's clear, even then, that he's in the business of using anything as long as he reaps the reward. I'm looking at you, venison. Moving on. Bonnet takes note of Claire's rings. She offers the info of her previous marriage. Bonnet studies her as she tends to him. He shares his fear of drowning with her, a reoccurring dream he's had for many years. Claire reciprocates with her story of almost drowning. It's easy to see how disarming that would be. They send him on his way with hopes of good luck, and he humbly thanks them for their help and cautions them to be wary in the woods, as you'll find many thieves and outlaws. You mean you, right, Bonnet? Anyone else want to toss that leg of venison at him? Claire and Jamie decide it's best to camp in the woods so as to not arouse the suspicions of the English with an early return to the checkpoint. Cut to some sexy time in the Carolina woods. Just you, me, and the trees. Y'all so bad. All right, one more look. The next morning, Claire romantically explains the American dream as they overlook the majestic mountains set before them, citing how many people would make the journey in hopes of a better life. It was Jamie's realistic response that had the most gravitas. What about those already here? The natives. I originally thought it was so weird that Claire would romanticize the American dream when she was from the future and saw the perils of war and segregation of all types. Yet Jamie's initial thought would be instead to the natives, the casualties of progress. So it was a nice and important touch to show that it wasn't a dream to all, but instead could be a nightmare. One that Claire admitted was not unlike what the English did to the Highlanders. There goes that circle again. The Frasers attend a dinner that evening in hopes of finding someone to purchase their ruby. This way they can have enough money to get their life started. Okay, they're like 50. I guess the 1700s are not unlike 2000 and now. Times are hard for a lot of people. Forget the American dream. We call that bills, taxes, and debt. Moving on. So Claire shows off her goods, and get your mind out the gutter, I meant her ruby necklace, and finds a buyer. And Jamie receives an offer from the governor after some talk and acknowledgement that he's the nephew of Jocasta Cameron. The governor suggests to relax some provisions required for a land grant if Jamie would settle there and encourage other immigrants to settle on that land. He only needs to pledge allegiance to the king. Well, later that night, Claire expressed to Jamie that she would actually find the idea pleasing, except for the little fact that years from then, a major war will break out and they will be on the losing side again. And by Jamie pledging loyalty to the king, they would be branded loyalists and all their land would be taken away. Oh boy. So yeah, they decide it's a great idea and a risk worth taking. Cut to the next day, we meet our four-legged friend Rollo, which Ian won after gambling with dice. I love how Claire questions whether it's a dog or a wolf. I would go further and ask if it were a dire wolf. Oh, sorry, wrong show. I love how much they reference Jenny in these scenes. Your mother's not gonna like this, or your mother will have my head, etc. She's such a great character. And you know she'll turn Jamie over her knee if she had the chance should her son go the illegal path. Once inside, Claire and Jamie share that they'll be sticking a flag in the North Carolina territory and calling this home. Ian is encouraged to go on back to Lollybrock, while Fergus and Marcelly unveil the news that they are with child. So they too will stay in North Carolina, though they'll wait in the current town that they're in and find the Frasers later. So that leaves Leslie. He decides to stay as well, though as a continued protection in this unknown new world. No truer statement would be said, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Fergus and Marcelly stay behind as the rest board a riverboat headed towards the direction of Aunt Jocasta. Claire sternly points out to the river captain, however, that this elderly slave shouldn't be on his feet so long, which in reply he lets Claire know that this man actually receives a fair wage and is actually free after he saved the life of his captain during a fire. His heroism helped the captain make the decision to petition his freedom easily. A nice touch. Later, during a riverboat steering lesson, Jamie asks Claire for a moment and presents her with a gift, a med kit, complete with microscope. I mean, that was such an emotional moment and an emotional and thoughtful gift, complete with the sentiment that he would love to be able to shower her with jewels, but states the most he's done is to offer her the wedding band and his mother's pearls, to which Claire replies, "You've already given me so much." Brianna, for one, a touching reminder. Jamie says, 24 years ago, I asked you to marry me, Sassenach. I hope I haven't given you cause to regret it. Not for a single day, Claire replies. Okay, let's all let out a big old hearty oh, like I did when I was watching. And now let me douse the flames and cut to Claire saying, I'm not sure if we belong together anymore on the cliffs before Ian was taken. Watch the video. I would be remiss if I didn't bring it up. Listen, don't worry guys, I know that those were tense and extreme circumstances back then. Hardly fair to bring it up, but I'm watching. All right, this is getting to be a long one, but we're almost done. Up to this point, we saw the loss of a friend, but growth of family and bond, hope, discovery, and peace. But this is a circle. So how would you see this loop closed? The Frasers, Ian, Leslie, all asleep in their cabin, calm and seemingly content. So were we, as the viewer, lulled into a sense of calm that the episode might end on a high note. Up to this point, it had been an hour already. They had been speaking about hope for so long. Why not an uplifting end? And then the music. That out of place and time piano music that snapped me awake and shook me. I thought I was watching a bad copy of the show for a second because I was so confused. A minute ago I was in bliss and now I was on edge. Do you get it? Just like the Frasers, they were first jolted awake by Rollo lunging at an intruder who is none other than that conniving Stephen Bonnet and his band of evil cohorts, separating our friends in a classic divide and conquer. All the while, the melodic, soulful tone of Ray Charles's 1976 rendition of America the Beautiful played over the turmoil, only further enhanced by their visual acting, as nary a sound is heard over the music. An excellent artistic choice that wasn't necessarily the biggest hit with some. But then I invite you to rewatch the episode again and weigh the contrast at the beginning to the end scene. It was a tough scene to watch, but that was the point. We lost Leslie to Bonnet's blade after Leslie successfully aided Claire. Unfortunately, Bonnet forced Claire to give up her rings, not before she tried to swallow them. Bonnet managed to dislodge one, Jamie's ring. Yes, Jamie's ring. Calm down. I know there were a lot of people mad he took that ring instead of Frank's ring like he did in the book. But you gotta remember, it's the show, not the books. And they have to whittle a whole bunch of content down to a manageable amount while still keeping the integrity of the books. And that also means that they may take some artistic liberties. Look, I'm good. I was satisfied with the episode. It was a nice way to ease us into the new season and a powerful message on a controversial topic. Oh my God, that was a long one. So if you made it to the end, thank you. This is the point where I ask the question of the day. What was your most memorable scene? So go ahead and comment down below and subscribe. Make sure you click the bell so you're always notified when I upload a video. As always, thanks for watching. Until next time, guys.